Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 157 of the Raising Nuts podcast. This is the first episode of season 4, and this is the first episode, hopefully, to be uploaded to YouTube. We'll see what happens. We have the setup here. That's the plan.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Trevor. This is Jody over here.
Yes, that's me.
And this is the 4th season, like I said, that we've done this podcast. I decided to dress in the attire that I wear pretty much every day.
Mm-hmm.
You actually did the same.
Yeah.
Pretty much. You commented on my appearance prior to recording.
Your hair's not done. You got your glasses on.
Yeah.
You got stains on your shirt.
Listen, I don't want to present something that I'm not, so that I have to keep that up over the course of the season as it's put on YouTube.
Okay.
So if we have to record it, a lot of times, we have a small window to record, which is the case today, as it usually is.
Yep.
So I'm going to put on what I wear, what I have on. I prefer not to have my glasses on right now, but the reason I'm wearing them is my eyes have had these allergies in them, and if I put contacts in, it's just a disaster. My eyes get all red and itchy and scratchy, so that's why I'm looking like this.
Remember the Itchy and Scratchy show?
I do remember that.
Except that you keep wearing your contacts.
Yes, I do sometimes. Let's not get off base here. Let's not get off track. For those of you out there on YouTube, you might know us from, first of all, the live stream that we did on Thursday nights for a long time. A lot of people are probably tuning in if they used to watch the live stream. Obviously, this channel had a lot of poker content on it also with our kids and with me playing poker. There really hasn't been much of that anymore. I can give an update on that at some point during this podcast for those of you out there who are wondering what we've been up to, what I've been up to. This podcast this is, like I said, episode 157. And it's actually, we have a lot more episodes than that.
Is it 157?
Yeah. 156 was the season finale of season 3.
Okay.
We have a lot more episodes than that up, actually, because we did some interviews and we didn't number them. But this podcast started 3 years ago because we wanted to do something in the mental health field. We talked about it for a long time, right?
Yep.
And then we were kind of pushed over the edge to finally get it started when our friend Luke committed suicide. He's dealing with schizophrenia and some other mental health issues. And we decided we needed to do this. We just needed to get it started. And so August 7th, which is actually today, today is actually our 3-year anniversary of it coming out. August 7th, 2019, we sat down, recorded our first one.
It was terrible.
Yeah, it was that. I mean, that's how it is a lot of times. I mean, if you look back at my first video on this YouTube page too, it was not great.
Yeah.
That's just how it is in content, and we recorded right after that again too, and we had that first one came out on a Wednesday, and then we put the next one out on a Monday.
Oh, that's right.
And then from then on, we decided Wednesdays would be our day.
And it took me hours to edit each one in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I finally was like, no, we're not doing this anymore. Obviously, we got better at talking into the microphone, and I gave up on the, making it perfect. No ums, no noises, no nothing. Just making it, sound perfect. I gave up on that.
And before we scare anybody off, this podcast is still about mental health a bit, but it's a lot more lighthearted. We get into some fun discussions. There's a lot for everybody. Basically, anybody who's out there can get something out of the podcast. So before you get too scared off, we're going to go over the history of where we're at, and we'll talk about what the format is for this season going forward if you've never listened to us before. But yeah, so the early episodes there, and don't be surprised if you hear our kids in the background. That's why this is Raising the Nuts. There's kids everywhere.
Yes, Andrew is currently yelling in the background.
Yeah,
yelling Ava's name.
That's how it goes. But so the early episodes, we talked a lot about our mental health journeys, my struggles that I had with anxiety, the struggles we had with our kids, your struggles to get acclimated to the things that you wanted to do and the success that you wanted to have and things like that. And then over the course of time, we completed season 1. And then towards the beginning of season 2, we kind of fell into a format that we carried on through season 3, which was we wanted to make it more lighthearted, less about, the heaviness of mental health and all that stuff, and more lighthearted. And then we can get into some serious topics. And so you came up with the tagline for that season, which you can say again. You said it that week, but most of the people haven't heard it before, I'm sure.
Come for the laughs, stay for the deep conversation, and enjoy the show.
Right. So we started the episodes out with a segment we called Jody Thinks. So Jody, it was kind of a multifaceted way to get the discussion going in a happy, positive way, funny way, jokes, but also to get you more involved in talking because as you can see right now, I tend to talk like crazy. So the way that worked was that the audience would submit words, phrases, and questions for Jody, and she would give her the first thing that came to her head. It was a great thing, and we had a lot of fun conversations that came off of it. And then we would get into kind of a serious topic after that. And we did that from episode 63 up until the end of season 3, which just ended up at episode 156. And we decided, that format was kind of getting a little stale, right? That's what we said at the end of last season.
Yeah, it was getting boring.
So going into season 4 here, we decided how we're going to make this a little bit different, but still kind of have that similar formula of let's have some good conversation, have some fun, chat about, the interactions that you and I have on a daily basis, and then kind of get into, okay, how can we improve our life? Because a lot of the story of Raising the Nuts podcast for the last 3 years has been us kind of spinning our wheels like a lot of people do. If you're out there and you want to make changes, a lot of times you might make changes for a week or 2 or 3, and then you go back to the way that you are. And that's kind of what we fell into with a lot of different things. And so the idea was to come up with goals that we would have to stay accountable, and everybody out there listening could do the same. Yep. Right? That was the plan, right?
Yes, which we said what our goals were last week on the season finale, and we're supposed to go over that, and my goals are not in front of me.
All right, perfect. All right, you can get those at some point.
I don't even know where they are, honestly.
Aren't they in a sheet or in a notebook of some kind?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's right there next to you.
All
in
right,
that
perfect.
cabinet.
Wonderful. Okay. So if you want to hear that discussion, you can go back and search for Raising Nuts on any podcast platform, and you can find that discussion we had there. But we're going to go over that a little bit here. But the other part of the equation, which is to start things out lighthearted, we had a couple different ideas. One of them we didn't do for this week yet. We'll do eventually, which is have anonymous messages sent in to us, which I think that'll actually be good going forward because hopefully we get some new listeners from the YouTube video, and then they can follow us on the social media platforms that will be posted at the end of the video, and they'll be able to submit their anonymous messages, and hopefully we get some fun interaction there. But the other idea was a segment that we haven't yet named. I guess it's probably good news is probably the idea, but to have people submit articles that were happy articles, happy news stories, funny news stories, something different than the fear porn that you get if you turn on the TV or you open up your Facebook page or any of those other places that Twitter, where you're just inundated with awful things.
Yes.
So we got a couple of stories. If you didn't listen to last week's podcast, if you're a new listener, go back and listen to the first one we ever did of this last week, where we talked about a grandma who wanted a penis on her grave. That's it. A penis on her grave. It was a hilarious segment.
But not just like it wasn't like an engraved thing on her headstone. She wanted like a giant statue of one on top of her headstone.
Right. Oh, also, if you're a new listener, we talk about whatever comes to our mind. There's no filter here. Probably
filter.
Not. There's no
Where
filter.
Are you from?
It's probably not kid approved very often.
Probably not.
I mean,
it's listed as explicit on there.
To be fair, I just said the first news story we talked about was a grandma who wants a penis on her.
Yeah, you're saying like most of the time, or whatever the hell you just said, it's never kid friendly.
Okay. Yes.
It's never kid friendly.
Just throwing that out there.
Never kid friendly.
Wonderful.
You never know what's going to come out of our mouth. So
Yes.
Not a good idea to listen in front of your kids unless you don't care what they hear.
Right, exactly. All right, so let's get into this week's news stories. Good news stories.
Okay.
Do you have any idea for a segment name?
I don't. We're going to have to. Stories? If anybody has any suggestions, let us know.
And if Anthony wants to do a jingle for us, that would be great.
No more jingles.
Come on.
I don't want.
Already? Okay, so expect there to be some possible technical difficulties during the first recording of this. Hopefully, we're good to go. And if you see a different camera angle from the front, just deal with it, okay?
You just mind your business.
It's just how it is. All right.
That's it.
So good news stories. Let's get into it. All right. Let's start with, let's see. I got a bunch of them submitted here. A couple of different people submitted things. I did some searching. Let's start with a funny one. I guess we might as well start with another Tombstone. Why not? So
This is going to be the theme of the podcast moving forward is what crazy shit is on a tombstone?
maybe, I don't know. This is I saw this one. I was like, there's another Tombstone one, so I got to just go with this one. So this was a family, a gentleman, I believe he was 59 years old. He passed away, and it says Owens at the top. That's the gentleman's last name.
But I feel like I saw this one. Wasn't this like they didn't really like him, so they wrote something on there? Or was it that he wanted that?
No, it was that I don't know that he wanted it, but they said this is something he said very often to people.
Oh, okay.
And
I feel like I saw one where they tried to get like a hidden message on there because they didn't like him.
I
But
saw
maybe
that
that was like just a terrible obituary or something.
Yeah, I think that was a different one.
Yeah, I don't remember.
This one would probably be in line with the most with what you would end up with on yours if I had to guess. So this one, the gentleman was a fan of saying F off to people. So what they did was they wrote forever in our hearts. Let me bring this a little closer to me so I can see. Forever in our hearts, so the F there.
Yeah.
Until we meet again.
Mm-hmm.
Cherished memories known as our son, brother, father, papa, uncle, friend, and cousin. So straight down the front, the first letter of each of those things then spells F off going down. And it said people were offended, but the family loved it. It felt like it honored their father. And so, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny. It made me think of you when I saw it.
I don't want fuck off written on my tombstone.
No?
No.
Okay.
I don't even remember. I said I don't even know if I want a tombstone.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
But you don't want to talk about that.
No,
so.
no. That's how we ended last season. I said we're not talking about that at all.
Yeah.
This one. I just thought it was, it was in line with what we talked about last week. So,
right.
And then, like I said, it made me think of you. So,
right.
How's that make you feel? That makes me think of you.
I mean, that's not surprising.
Sure.
I do say that a lot.
Something else that made me think of you was this next news story, which happened a couple months ago, actually, but I saw the article today. It says that ketchup ice pops are now a thing, thanks to French's.
I saw that.
Ketchup ice pops. What are your thoughts on that? Would you have a ketchup ice pop?
No.
No.
It's disgusting. There's a lot of sugar in ketchup anyway.
Would you have a mustard ice pop?
No.
Okay.
That's nasty.
It said apparently that this is offered to Canadians. I don't think it's actually in the U.S. right now.
But why would you want a ketchup popsicle? The only thing that I think of with ketchup popsicles is like the saying that says that person could sell a ketchup popsicle to a person in white gloves.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah.
Is that why it makes you think of me because of that? Like
no, just food wise. Anything I kind of see something with food.
Well, because I've said this recently about a friend of ours.
Okay. Yes.
Do you remember?
I don't remember that, but
Brian.
Yeah, I believe that.
I said Brian could sell ketchup popsicles to a woman in white gloves.
He certainly could. The question, so apparently Canadians love ketchup. If you are Canadian, let us know in the comments if you do love ketchup and if you'd have a ketchup popsicle.
But like as a popsicle, it's one thing to love ketchup. It's a whole other thing. Like I like ketchup potato chips. I think they're really good.
Yeah.
And I like to dip French fries in ketchup. I like ketchup on a burger, but like a popsicle? No.
What percentage of Canadians like ketchup, do you think?
I have no fucking idea. You ask me these questions all the time. I don't know. I have no idea. Why would I know something like that? Why would I even have a guess about something?
How about Americans? Do you think you have a guess on that?
No.
Okay.
I would say greater than 50%.
79% of Canadians like ketchup.
Okay.
63% of Americans like ketchup.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't really come across too many people that don't like ketchup.
Me neither. I don't know anybody that doesn't like ketchup.
Yeah.
So if you don't like ketchup, put it in the comments below also. I feel like this is something that's not going to go well. Like, how many people really want to buy a ketchup popsicle?
No, and then it starts melting, and it's going to, like, get watery. You know, like when you turn the ketchup bottle over and you don't shake it appropriately? Mm-hmm. This doesn't happen to me, but I see it happen in this house often because other people don't know how to shake the ketchup bottle. But that, like ketchup water that comes out is nasty, and that's what's going to be flowing off of your popsicle if you don't eat it fast enough. And for you, you would have to be licking it because you can't bite cold stuff. I would just, bite it. You can't do that.
When I hear the word flow, it just makes me think of something else that's red, and then I get a bad image when I think of eating a ketchup popsicle. Is that normal, or am I?
You're weird. Why would that make you think of that?
Because it's a flow.
Yeah, but
flow, flow.
So
catch a
anytime you
crossover.
hear the word flow, you think of a period?
Yes, I do.
Stop.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Let's stay with food for a little bit. An artist threw the pickle from a McDonald's burger on a ceiling, and he's charging $6,325 for it. It's called Pickle, but we wish it were called Slappy Meal is the title of this article here.
We wish it were called what? Oh,
Slappy Meal.
What?
Slappy Meal.
Slappy meal? Oh, because
Like
he
slapped
slapped
the pickle,
it?
yes.
Oh, Jesus. What, on what ceiling?
I believe it was the McDonald's ceiling.
And so he's trying to charge $6,000 for a picture of it, or what?
Yeah, it appears to be his artist. It's in his art gallery, so it's a picture of it. Oh no, I'm sorry. It says it's by Matthew Griffin. It says Pickle 2022 is a sculpture comprising the slice of pickle from a McDonald's cheeseburger flung onto the ceiling. So is it a sculpture or I don't know.
Okay.
I guess it's
super weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this just kind of goes to the argument of like, what is art? Is anything art?
I mean, I guess if someone's willing to pay for it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's actually purchased it yet. So I think this guy is apparently known for doing these types of things. So I think it's just probably like I can't say that word.
Publicity stunt?
Yes, that's it. That was awful. I didn't even want to attempt it the third. I tried twice and I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to try the third time. That's it. I know the word.
I did have a little concern that it wouldn't come out of my mouth right when I tried to say it after you tried.
Oh, boy. All right. Next one. Burmese pythons. Have you heard about pythons?
I read the article.
Okay.
I don't understand why this is a good news story.
This is not
I find it super strange.
It's not just a good news story, but it's a conversation piece, I guess. I mean, it's not like a bad news story.
No, it's not a bad news story.
Unless, I guess, somebody gets murdered by a python. But...
Well, but also there's animal activists out there who will not enjoy the slaughtering of pythons.
Right. Well, I guess these pythons are in Florida, and they are not supposed to be in Florida.
Yes, they're an invasive species.
Right.
They don't belong there.
They're down there, like, causing all kind of chaos.
Yeah.
And so...
Because they're eating birds and mammals and stuff and...
People. Each year... I don't think they've actually eaten any people, but...
No, I'm not... No, not people. Like small mammals.
I know. I said people, but...
I mean, they can actually... I don't know if it's pythons or not, but I just looked this up recently because the kids were talking about it. And there is... Maybe it's a python. I don't know. There is a snake that can swallow a human.
Awesome.
I think. I mean, unless I looked at some ridiculous article, but it did. I'm pretty sure it was. I don't know. I don't have my phone. I can't look it up. So you can look it up.
I have a question first that's on my mind right now.
Okay.
They're Burmese pythons.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that mean they're from Burma?
I guess.
But how'd they get here?
Because people bring them over as pets.
How'd they get them here, though?
The fuck you talking about? Are you making a joke?
Well, I mean, they have to get here. Do you think they came on a boat, or do you think maybe they came some other way?
Oh, Jesus. Like snakes on a plane? You're so weird.
Anyway, I mean, it's not their fault. It's kind of screwed up that I understand that they're not supposed to be there, right? And they're causing problems for other animals, but these poor snakes, I kind of feel bad for them. They didn't choose. They're not like, hey, I wanted to move to Florida, because I'm retiring. They just ended up there.
Well, they do this with deer too.
Yeah.
When deer get overpopulated.
So what happens here, though, is the snake killers, they're like professional. I don't know if they're professionals or like anybody can do it.
No, anyone can
You have to
sign
pay
up.
a $25 registration fee.
Yep.
And then you go and there's a bunch of these rules, though. You got to follow the rules to hunt these snakes. But, the state of Florida wants these people to come in. They offer a reward. It's $2,500 to the person who kills the most. But you have to kill them humanely. I don't know what that means. I mean,
Well, they outline it.
I understand, but like that sounds. You humanely kill somebody? Like, is it human to kill somebody? No.
Well, assisted suicide. You would do it
guess.
humanely.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just I feel like that's a weird word. I feel like.
But no. There's like Temple Grandin is a woman who did like a whole thing about humanely slaughtering cows.
Yeah, you're getting too serious for me. I was just trying to figure out a different word.
But that's what it is. You're not allowed to you can't just go in the woods and take like a machete and chop it up. You're not allowed to do that.
Oh my God, this thing is huge.
That's what she said.
That actually made me wonder. Like, the term python hunting, I feel like could also be in like the Urban Dictionary for women who go out looking for big dongs.
They're called size queens.
Yeah. Is that python hunting? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Did we just make that up, or I bet you can look that up. It sounds like a thing.
I have no idea.
Have you ever done that before?
No.
Okay.
How would you do that? You just like go around like pulling people's pants down?
Maybe you like try to cop a feel under the
I
under the bar.
believe that that's considered sexual assault.
But I mean, you could also just like get them in bed and then move on quickly.
That seems like a lot of effort just to find out whether or not they have a big bird or not.
True, but you never know. I mean, if you're python hunting, that's what you're doing.
There has to be. Yeah, I don't know. I think you like try to find out in conversation first before you like, you know what? Let me just take every single one of these guys back to my house and put him in my bed and get him naked so I can find out whether he's got a big one or not.
Yeah, but in conversation, do you know what that means?
Well, yeah, they're going to lie about it.
Yeah.
But
I guess there's that thing, you can do the math. There's some kind of multiplier.
Yeah, you
so you
subtract.
just divide by 3 minus 2 plus 6 divided by 14.
That's a lot of numbers.
It's a lot of math. I forget.
No, I don't think so. I think you just subtract a couple of inches.
Oh, is that what
it's like the same as height. Like when a guy says he's 6'3", you take a few inches off.
I'm 6'3".
I mean, you actually are 6'3", but a lot of times people don't. They lie.
I got a 13-inch penis, too.
No, you don't.
Do your equation. Figure it out.
Well, how many inches are supposed to come off?
I don't know. Depends. Depends on what day of the week it is. Have you ever run into that where someone lied about it?
No.
Where they're just like, yeah, I'm packing. And then they're like, not really.
I don't think so.
Okay. Back to the snakes. These snakes here.
And also, I've only ever been with you. So how would I know? Did you lie about it?
Probably. This woman is a full-time snake killer. She's a professional python hunter, much like yourself, since 2017. She's killed more than 670 of them.
Oh my God.
Since then. Imagine that. Like, people get interested. They're like, oh, you play poker for a living? Imagine you're like, yeah, I'm a python hunter.
I bet you that people would still want to talk to you over the python hunter.
More about, to me, yes. For sure. Because after a while, it's just like, what else do you say to her? Oh, you kill some snakes. I don't know how you do it. Yeah, how you do it like that. Yeah.
Like, have you ever been on TV killing a python?
Exactly. So
have you ever played in the main event killing a python?
Exactly.
These are all. What are the other questions? I can't think. Ever been on TV?
Yeah, those are the main ones. How much you
win?
How much you make?
How much did you lose?
Oh yeah, that one too. You make a lot of money. Are you able?
Is that the only thing you do?
Yeah. Your wife must be rich.
Your wife must be rich?
Like, your wife must have a really good job because...
Oh, really? People say that?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The woman that won it, that won the 2,500
Oh,
last
it's over?
year,
Oh, they didn't do it yet, right?
No. I think it's going on right now.
Okay.
Last year, it's the same one I was just talking about, who's the professional. She killed 19. 19.
Weird. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Kat, for that story.
I hope I never run into a python, especially if we're together, because I know what happens if you see a little tiny snake. So I can't imagine what would happen if you saw a python. You would just leave me there to get eaten.
Yeah. I don't do well with snakes or any other animals, especially that I'm not expecting to see.
Yeah.
Last question about the snakes.
Okay.
How much, I figure it'll be infinity, but how much would you have to be paid to kill a snake?
I would have to learn the correct approach and like learn about them first.
What would the first place prize have to be in order to take up this venture?
I mean, if I knew how to do it, if you know how to like handle it appropriately, then I don't think there has to be like some crazy exorbitant number.
I mean, there still has to be.
You're terrified of stuff like that. If I know what I'm doing, if I know how I'm handling it, and like know what the proper thing to do is, it's not that big of a deal.
Even still, though, there still has to be some percentage chance that you get your face bit off or something.
No, they don't. They squeeze.
Whatever, you get squeezed to death.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to go out in the woods and hunt pythons, so I don't know.
Are
50
you saying
grand, 100 grand?
That's not bad. I mean, I would think that with your python experience, you'd be pretty good with it. All right.
Really? Come on.
All right, and now to a more kind-hearted, loving mental health type story. A happy story, a good story.
I don't know what story this is.
This was the first one that we received, and this was from Daniel Kim.
Oh, okay.
He sent this into us, and it's actually, we have a house in St. Petersburg, Florida.
All right.
That came out weird. And so this is actually in St. Petersburg, Florida. This is something we've talked about before, actually, on the podcast. They have a program. They're unarmed responders that answer crisis calls.
How old is this program?
It's relatively new. So what happened was, I just read the article. They decided not to hire 25 new police officers, and with those funds, they put them towards this program, the program is called CALL. I forget what it stands for. Community Assistance and Life Liaison. And it was actually in St. Pete that we talked about earlier in the podcast, our friend Luke, who committed suicide. You had actually reached out to people there and the police and the police went out and talked with them, and we went through the whole thing there, basically. So this is the people that we'd be talking to now if that were the case.
Yeah, he wasn't in St. Pete, but he was very close.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I asked how old it was, because, something like this, I mean, I reached out to several places, but nobody could do anything. Like, I know the one people told me that I had to physically bring him in. And I was like, well, I'm 1,000 miles away, and he's 6 foot tall, so I can't exactly bring him into you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, something like this could potentially save his life.
Yeah, and so the way it works is they are unarmed. They're not police officers. They're just normal people. A lot of them have experience or degrees in some sort of psychology or things like that. The article follows two of the responders. Said they're armed with nothing but their expertise in communication, de-escalation, and mental health. It talks about how when cops show up to crisis situations, the people who are in crisis often end up feeling kind of cornered. They feel threatened, and then it ends up in. It says actually, since 2015, nearly a quarter of people killed by police have had a known mental illness.
Yeah.
So apparently, there's some of these programs coming up in different places. Oregon also has one called Cahoots. But yeah, so it seems just like a pretty good step.
Yeah.
To help people in crisis, and it goes through one of the stories of, and then they follow up with the people too. It's not just let me rescue them from this situation where they're feeling very out of control. It's let me follow up, let me talk to family, let me see what we can do moving forward to get them into a better place. In the particular one that they referenced, a guy was feeling like dealing with thoughts in his head or voices in his head and having suicidal thoughts and all this stuff. And they said as soon as they were able to get him in the car with them, and they offered to, he said he wanted to go check into a mental health facility. Mm-hmm. But once he got in the car with them, he immediately changed his demeanor based on the fact that he was with other people and people who were listening to him, which obviously isn't always going to be the case. But when you have people who are trained specifically in that type of response situation, there's going to be a hopefully better result most of the time.
Yeah. This story made me I think it's wonderful. I think it's a great idea because, police officers are there to protect people and protect outsiders from a situation that's ongoing. But, and some of them are very skilled negotiators and, but not everybody has mental health training to the extent of what a mental health professional has. And so for people who are willing to go out and try to de-escalate situations that are brought on by, let's face it, any situation that's going on is a mental health problem of some sort. People don't just fly off the handle and hold people hostage if there's not something going on. Doesn't mean you have to have a history of like some crazy mental illness or whatever, but there's something going on, you don't just fly off the handle like that. But this story made me a little bit sad because it is so similar to Luke. He was hearing voices. Unfortunately for him, he was dealing with schizophrenia, and so that's what ultimately led to everything. But, and in Luke's case, he just needed something that insurance would not approve. Yeah. And so that makes it even more disturbing and upsetting because he could be here with us right now. Yeah. And he's not. And, that's awful. So I'm happy to see that things like this are popping up. I think this is a great idea. And will certainly help people moving forward.
Yeah, great. And, we started this podcast initially, like I said, mental health. A lot of that was on our mind, and just opening up the conversation about different mental health topics so that hopefully things like this continue to happen, and people feel like they can reach out to somebody or have things in place. We also just had the news recently of a hotline that opened up here in New Jersey, right? Is it nationwide?
I think it's nationwide. I think it's like 911. You can call it anywhere.
Right. So we should probably, I'll put that hopefully on YouTube. We'll put that in the right here on the screen.
Yeah.
What that number is. But yeah, so that's it for the news stories of the week. Some different things. We got talk about python hunting. We got ketchup popsicles and everything, tombstones, all kinds of good stuff here.
Yeah. I think that the hotline, they just changed it to, because they've always had a mental health hotline.
Right.
They just changed it so that it was a 3-digit, very simple number instead of having to remember this long 800 number. It's just a 3-digit, just punch it in and you're there.
Got it. Okay. If you'd like to submit news stories to us, you can email them. It's info@raisingthenuts.com. You can also reach out to us on the various social media platforms if you'd like to send the stories there. And we appreciate anybody contributing anything. You'll get a little shout out here on the podcast, and it'll make for some good entertaining things. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this segment for the second time, I guess. All right.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is my resting bitch face on here?
Comment below, everyone. Let us know what you think of Jody's resting bitch face.
I don't want to open it up to the comments.
Okay.
I'm asking you. You're looking at me.
I mean, I look at your face all the time. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, but there's definitely times where I look really unhappy, but I'm not actually unhappy. It's just my face.
Yeah. Well, with the art of editing, your face will never be shown unless you're talking, or unless we're both talking.
Well,
like, some of the front on views,
okay.
maybe you'll be there. I'll try to see. We'll see after the first one how bad your resting bitch face is.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
trying not to, but like I said, it's just my face.
Just your face. All right. You want to get into our goals that we set?
Yes, but we have a limited amount of time now.
Well, that's okay. We can also just come back after I drop her off or you drop her off.
Yeah, whatever.
We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Because I don't want to cut the podcast short, especially if we have new viewers here and we're just going to cut it short. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. All right. So like we said, we wanted to set some big overarching goals with some action steps that we could check in with each week. And we encourage you guys out there who are watching or listening to do the same. The idea behind goal setting is not to set some big lofty goals that you're not going to be able to attain, first of all. And I think your main goals should be very broad. And then you come up with action steps, hopefully each week. That's our plan. Each week, come up with action steps that we'd like to accomplish working towards those goals. We both divided ours up into body, mind, finance, career, and then we had some relationship ones at the end. And we can add more as we go along. I have different ones that I was thinking of as I was going through the week. So go ahead, you can get us started.
So what, you just want to update on whether we hit the goals that we...
Yeah, I guess just talk about it, whether you hit it and talk about it and how you want, if there's something that you want to change or add on to it going forward.
Yeah.
So just do body first and I'll do my body.
So, all right. So just to recap, my body was go to yoga 1 time per week, follow the workouts that the new app that we're using. So that was 4 to 5 workouts for the week, 10K steps, and close my rings every day. Because I don't know why, but Apple doesn't, if you hit 10K steps, they don't even tell you. They don't care.
Yeah.
As long as you close your rings. So you could have 4,000 steps, but close your rings and you're good to go. I wish I'll have to look and see if maybe you can adjust that or whatever, because you can change your goals. But yeah, so they don't even tell you when you hit 10K steps. But so to hit 10K steps and close my rings every single day, eat well, drink 3 of these water bottles per day. I don't even know if you could see that, but it's a 40-ounce water bottle. Take my vitamins, meditate daily. Oh, wait, I'm getting into mine now.
Okay, so those are your body ones.
That's my body
How'd
ones.
you do on it this week?
So,
and how do you feel overall?
I feel fine. It's only been a week, so it's hard to say. I did not go to yoga this week. Our schedule was very chaotic this week, and I'm sure that if I tried, I could have fit it in somewhere, but I was focused on other stuff, and I just didn't do yoga this week. I do plan to go this coming week, though. I did do my workouts. I did 4 workouts because that's what was there for this week. And so far, Monday to Saturday, because this day is not over. It's Sunday currently. I have hit 10K steps every day, and I close my rings every single day. I've eaten better. Not great. I still have to definitely ate better this week than previous weeks, but like I said, it was just a very hectic week. And I have been drinking a lot of water. I don't know if I've hit 3 of the 40-ounce bottles every single day, but if I haven't, I've been extremely close. And I took my vitamins once. So.
All right. So looking forward, maybe figuring out a way to track your water intake. I know you've done that before in the past, right? So maybe putting that down on your goals as something to do to track it, so you're actually paying attention to that a little more.
Yeah.
And then same thing with vitamins, kind of using the rings, use the rings the same way. Like, just think of the vitamins in the water as an additional ring.
Yeah. Well, the issue with the vitamins is that I have to eat before I take a lot of the vitamins. And so if I'm not eating well, I'm not eating a meal or whatever, I'm rushing around, then I don't take the vitamins. And then I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to take my vitamins, but now I have an empty stomach. I can't take the vitamins right now. And the cycle continues. So I have to make sure that I'm taking the vitamins. There's some that I need to take as soon as I wake up. Like, that needs to be just a thing that I do, because I don't need food for those. And then the ones where I do need food, I need to make sure that I'm having my meals and then taking my vitamins with those meals.
You can habit stack it together. Eat
Yes,
vitamins.
I love habit stacking. It's my favorite.
Do you feel like you sleep better from doing the workouts and stuff like that, or how was your sleep this week?
I mean, I don't feel like I sleep better, but the Aura Ring says that I sleep great. I have like all these crowns and stuff. Like, I wish I could have shown you I didn't show you the one today, and I can't show it to you now, but I had like a 98 readiness score.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, you have got to be, yet I feel like a zombie. Like,
it's so interesting because your scores are always really good and you feel awful. My scores are always terrible and I feel great.
Yeah.
It's pretty
maybe
interesting.
I should just do the opposite and maybe I'll feel better.
Maybe. Go for it. So my body stuff was pretty similar to yours. 10K steps a day was one of my biggest ones, which I was able to do so far. I put gym 4 times a week, which is what we did. We did workouts Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And even on Friday, was it Friday? Whatever day it was when we couldn't go to the gym together, I went there by myself.
Yeah, Friday.
I went by myself and you did a workout at home. So I was proud of that. That was good.
Yeah.
Because that was an easy day to be like, no, we just don't have the time to get it in. We could just, put it off to the next day.
We made it work.
We made it work.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote figure out a food balance. I think I did a pretty good job with that this week. You went grocery shopping on Monday, and all the food that we got, I made and we was eaten. But we went to your brother's house on Friday for our nephew's 17th birthday, which is ridiculous, by the way.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, and I didn't mind picking at food there. It didn't bother me to pick at a few things. And we had Andrew's birthday party yesterday. And I had a couple slices of pizza, and it's gluten-free pizza, but
and they're
still.
this big.
Yeah, and
the
they're
slices
small,
are really small.
One thing I did with the food though that I felt like was really good for me was that I was very intentional about my bites, because I tend to bite and just swallow. Mm-hmm. I don't chew up enough for sure, and I'm just not paying attention to what I'm doing, not very mindful. I try to be very, very mindful with what I was eating, mm-hmm. and I felt like that always helps me pay attention to what I'm eating too, because if I feel like I want to grab a cupcake or something and I make myself take the bites slowly, I'm like, do I really want to be doing this right now?
Yeah.
Is it going to make me feel good? I did notice that my sleep was definitely better on days. We talked about this before too. If I have some more carby items, my sleep is always better mm-hmm. than if I don't have any carbs at all. And if I finish eating before around 8 o'clock or so, my sleep felt like it was better than if I was eating 9:30, 10.
Right, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And also with the biting thing, when you're taking slow bites and chewing properly all the way, your food is digested much better. It's so much better for your stomach and also feeling full. You're not going to eat as much because you're slowly taking your time. And when you chew, that also activates the enzymes in your stomach, which then help digest. So taking smaller bites and chewing thoroughly makes sense.
Yeah. I also had that I wanted to do one non-gym workout a week. I didn't technically do any of that. I had baseball practice with the kids.
Yeah.
And I played outside with Andrew a bunch, playing wiffle ball and stuff like that. So I did do other types of active things, but I was talking to your stepdad this weekend. I was telling him about how it would be fun to get in pickleball. He said, you guys come out, we'll play. So I think that'd be a fun thing to do. My tennis partner is currently unavailable, so that'll be something I'll be adding soon. I have a golf tee time, not this week, but the next week with my friends. So that'll be cool to play golf with them then. But I didn't write on here either, but this is something I'll be adding for going forward, is also closing the rings like you did. And that's something I want to do. And I did it every day this week as well. So that's good.
Yeah, I forgot I started doing like a kettlebell challenge. So I've done 2 days of it so far. I have to do it again today, but so that's something else I have to add in there too.
Yeah, so I figured I was going to add to this list basically as we went along throughout.
We got to share that pencil.
Yeah.
Let me say it.
Here you go. All right. So yeah, I guess you're adding some things to your list right now that you're going to do for next week.
I'm adding the kettlebell.
Right. Okay. What are there any other, from as far as your body goes, things that you want to do better this week going forward that you didn't do last week?
Well, yeah, I mean, I need to go to yoga, and then as far as like the workouts, since last week was the first week getting back into it, this week I need to like really figure out what weight I should be using, because I definitely wasn't using heavy enough weight for a lot of the exercises. I mean, I was still using a heavy weight, but I could go more. So I need to like push myself a lot more. And then, so making sure I get to yoga, continuing the kettlebell challenge, and then what else was I going to say? Oh, I want to do like at least one ab workout per week.
Yeah.
Separate from like any ab workout that's scheduled with her.
One thing that I mentioned to you at the gym that I had kind of forgot about, and I think this could be a good reminder to everybody out there listening, is when you don't work out for a while, and obviously you work out and you're like, oh my God, this is awful. And I was in that state so often, even when we were doing workouts, where I was just like, oh, this is terrible. And you're just kind of like, okay. And I never got to that. I don't know what it's exactly called. I know with running, it's like that peak zone.
Yeah, your runner's high.
Yeah, your runner's, where you get past that point of feeling your muscles are exhausted, and instead you get this burst.
Yeah.
And you feel like strong.
It is like a high.
Yeah, it's like a high. And I got to that at one point during one of our workouts, because I think the first day was a struggle. And then I think it might have been the second day, actually. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Like you go from, oh my God, why am I doing this right now? This is awful. Like I feel terrible, until like, oh yeah, this is good. I feel good. Like I want to keep going. Because at the end of our workouts that we're doing are these endurance things or whatever they're called. And so we're going for 7 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, they're kind of like a cardio circuit type thing.
Right. And you just, when you're first getting started and you're sweating, you're like, oh God, I just want this to be over. I want to stop doing this. And what I did was I tried to focus really hard on each rep. So even if I couldn't do 10 of the reps, I was just trying to do it to failure and just like really focus hard on it. Mm-hmm. And then eventually I got to that peak state where I was like, oh, you know what? Look, I can go more.
Right.
Rather than I'm not burning out here. I actually can push through this and go harder. Mm-hmm. And that was a good reminder to myself, like that, oh, that's possible. And so I think for those of you out there who are trying to get back into working out, if you just keep pushing through and really push yourself hard, you'll get to that state. And then that to me, that was like, yeah, I want to come back tomorrow so I can get back to this state again. And
yeah, I mean, I find it like going back to the gym now and knowing the weight that I was lifting before when I was working out a lot, it does make me a little sad that I've lost so much of that, and I have to push back to get, back to that same place again, which is whatever. It's all good. But I do enjoy lifting weights much more than I enjoy any kind of cardio, anything. It sucks maybe at first, but then you do get into kind of a groove, and I just want to keep going with lifting weights. So
yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing with eating, I think for us, we have 1 weekend of eating a little bit better, but now is where we need to plan better for this week.
Yeah.
As far as, we have the grocery shopping to do and figuring out, what we're going to eat for the week, and, what our week looks like. We have a busy week. You're going out tomorrow with our friend. We're going out to dinner with my dad. And we're going to dinner with my dad on Wednesday.
Yeah.
There's baseball these days, so it's going to be chaotic. So making sure that we know, the biggest thing for me that's been tough is I'm working, and then I have to come out here and cook while I'm working, and I'm like running back and forth because I want to make sure I'm eating.
Right.
But so now I'm like running back and forth trying to cook these meals while I'm like missing out on some action and stuff like that.
Is
it's
that
like,
hint to your wife?
Get cooking. You wanna hunt this python, you better get cooking.
Oh my God. Yeah, like I need to cook a meal for you to present your python. Please. Yeah, I mean, I was just like super busy this week. So, but definitely the food is a major thing, and definitely have to do that. Like right now, I'm absolutely starving. But a lot of times, like for me, once I get into a groove of getting something done, I don't want to stop because I know if I stop, like to take a break, it's going to be curtains on whatever I was working on.
Yeah, it's
And
tough.
so that's what's really hard for me is to stop what I'm doing to cook or whatever because I'm in like some kind of a groove.
Right.
So, but this week I have to like really have things situated and planned out because I do want to start getting back into macro counting and because I just feel like if I'm working out and I have a goal and I'm not really tracking my food and I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing there and I'm just eating, I'm kind of sabotaging myself. So
Yeah. I need to see. I'm fine with leftovers. So as long if I when I cook dinner, I just need to make enough that I have enough for my lunch the next day, and then hopefully sometimes in the morning it's pretty slow. So making my breakfast is not as difficult.
right.
Like this morning, I was able to make my breakfast without a problem, and I can eat my breakfast while there's no action. It's the lunch is if there's a lot of people playing, then and I'm like I need to eat before we go to the gym. I want to make sure it's
Right.
spaced out right, and then I have to like move my tables or whatever. So
Yeah. Yeah, I won't eat leftovers. I
Yeah.
think that's what you were getting at.
yes,
I mean, no, that's not even true. I'll eat leftover like vegetables and stuff. I will not eat leftover meat. I don't like it. Like chicken reheated, even if it's reheated on a stovetop, just tastes like metal to me. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think it's nasty. So I won't eat it.
all right. You want to go to your mind with how to mind is next, right? Meditation. How'd that go?
Yes. So I just wrote meditate daily using Muse, read a book, and then come up with a self care routine or plan or whatever, which I did not do the plan for self care, but I mean, I've certainly done things. And meditate daily using Muse, I've done that so far. I've done it every single day since then. And read a book. I've been reading the book that you gave me and also like my certification stuff that I'm working on. So I've been reading something.
Yeah. What was the first one that you said? Oh, the self care thing. Do you have a plan? Are you gonna sit down to do that for this week?
Yeah, I
going
need to
forward,
sit down and figure out what my plan is as far as self care and like what that's going to look like for me.
All right, so that's one that's on your list for this week to check
Yeah.
in with next week. Mine for my mental stuff was to stick with the regimen that I've done, which is it's second nature now. I do the same thing every morning when I wake up, and I do it every single day. I'm never gonna stop doing it. Just
Yeah.
at least while it's working, it's been the same thing for 3 years, and it's what I stick with. And then I had walk outside 4 times, which if we do today, we're going to count Sunday, which today is when we're recording. That's the previous week. Monday is the first day of the week. So we're going to hopefully take a walk today at some point, and that'll be 4 days of the week for taking a walk outside for me. How about for what was that? What else is on your list?
Career and finance.
Yeah. How you doing there?
Career. No, I didn't hit any of them.
Okay.
I mean, I did work on my cert, but I said I wanted to work on it 1 hour every single day,
Right.
and I did not do that.
Okay.
And I didn't. Yeah, I just didn't hit these goals at all because I was so wrapped up in all the other stuff that was going on this week that I just let that stuff slide.
Right.
Which seems to be what happens all the time.
Yeah.
So that's something that definitely I have to work on because I don't want to let that stuff slide. I want to make sure that I'm working on it, especially with the cert. Like, it's very difficult to read stuff, go over it, take a break, come back, because then you forget stuff. And there is a comprehensive exam that I have to take at the end. So I have to make sure that I'm really focusing on that. Plus, I just want to be done with it. I don't want to drag it out and be working on it forever,
Right.
when I can get it done in just a couple of months and be done with it. So.
Yeah. So that's the time management stuff that is really important for you because doing those things are what's going to bring you the fulfillment over the other things that you have to do
Right.
now. So making time for yourself, getting out of the house, whether it's going to a coffee shop or whatever, to put some time in and work on those things is really important.
Yeah.
For you, I think that I would make that a priority for this week for sure. Even though it's going to be another chaotic week, it's always going to be chaotic.
Yep.
And you got to make that time for yourself, or else you're going to just continue to feel unhappy about certain things.
Yep.
For mine, with poker, I said just keep the fire, which I did this week. I played 45 hours this week, and I didn't have any days off. We talked about the way that our schedule is this month. We're going to Florida at the end of the month, and so I had to really pack in a lot of hours over the first 18, 19 days of the month, 20 days of the month. because I'm going to have off so many days. And that's a difficult thing about working, for yourself. You have to do it. There's no, I can't, and I can't just say, oh, I work Monday to Friday and I'll put in 40 hours then, because that's not how it works. Like, there's always something that comes up. I'm always doing something all day long, every hour pretty much. So I can't just say, oh, let me I'll take off these other days here when we're going to have off 8 or 9 days at the end of the month. So I did that, and it was a pretty good week overall for that. Nothing more to say about that. What do you have? Finances, the last ones that we can finish up on here?
Yeah, finance. I have to do the meal plan and cut out unnecessary spending, like canceling stuff. So I said I did cancel the lawn care thing. I still have to do the hand and stone thing, but that's just like I have to go in person, and I did not have time to go in person over there to cancel that. Hopefully this week I can squeeze that in somewhere. And then the meal plan, I didn't meal plan, but I did go grocery shopping and spent half or even less than half than half or more, I guess you should say.
Yeah.
Of what we normally spend at the grocery store, which is a huge chunk taken out. So that was good. And then nothing went to waste.
Yeah, exactly. It was good. So I had in here for my part of the finance was to establish a budget and stick to it. So I went through and did the budget for this month with like more specific things in mind. I made some more subcategories in the budget also to get more specific into where the money is going.
Okay.
So you'll be able to see that in there as well. And I like lowered the amount that's normally in there in the budget to hopefully which would save us a bunch of money if we actually stick to it. That's the plan. So far it's going pretty well as far as the normal money going out. It's way less than normal. I don't know if that's conscious decision making or if it's just how it worked out so far. Well, that'll remain to be seen. We'll see. But so far so good with that. Did you have any other things that came up to your mind about things that you want to do for this week going forward?
Well, I had said last week that I wanted to come up with like a house cleaning schedule and then delegate tasks to people. So I didn't do that this past week either. So that's something that also, that would be super helpful if we just had a whole plan for all that stuff. And then it's not like the kids coming to me in the morning and saying, well, what do I have to do today? Like, what's my chore today? If we just had it laid out and everything was situated, that would be so much better. And then it would also, create less chaos in the house. I think something's coming under our door right now.
Yeah, it's somebody telling us we got to go.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that. The interesting thing, thinking about this month going forward, we have this week here coming up, and then next week you'll be gone.
Yeah.
We'll have to record it early Sunday morning maybe next week so that we get it on camera here.
Okay.
And so thinking about that, that's kind of important to think about because you don't want to put something in place and then not follow up the next week when it's just me here trying to deal with all the chaos. So if you maybe like just get by this week, not make that a priority, make yourself the priority this week. Obviously the house is going to be fine for a week.
Yeah.
And then when you come back, well, then we're going again. So after Florida, we start, going into the school year, the week before school year, going into like, okay, let's come up with a house cleaning plan. And then, because we're going to have a new routine then too. We talk about this a lot, over the course of the podcast, we've talked about this, when the new school year starts, there's a new routine that develops. And if you're parents out there, you understand that this is how it goes. Your routine's constantly changing. There's new activities, there's different school times, and you kind of got to get in that flow. The first couple of weeks are tough to get to, but we're hopeful that going into that this year, we're a little more prepared and we can then put good systems in place. So this is now part of your routine after school. This is what you do. These are your projects. And I think if we have that going forward, that'd be the way to go.
Yeah.
I agree. So we appreciate you guys out there listening. This was episode 157 of the podcast. If you guys would like this video on YouTube, that would be awesome. And if you want to put a comment below, let us know what you thought of it. I'll put in here as well how you can reach us on social media. We don't have to say all that. If you have any questions or you want to be a part of the show, email us info@raisinthenuts.com or any of the social media platforms, comments in the YouTube page. And if you are listening to this like normal and you haven't left a review for us, you can do that on Apple by putting 5 stars in. We have about 90 reviews so far, I think. So, and they're all 5 stars except for one actually. Who was right? We should probably tell that guy he was right.
What, to scrap Jody things?
Yep, he was right. Sorry to that guy. He was right. All right.
I mean, that's totally fine.
Yeah. All right. So we will see everybody this episode. I don't think we even talked about this, but on YouTube and on the podcast player things, it comes out every Tuesday.
Yes.
All right. So we'll see everybody next Tuesday.
Okay. Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.